diction. Now remember that diction is specific and intentional word choice by an author. It means that they are thinking about what word to use that will best convey something to the reader. And you've got connotation and denotation as two ways of defining words. Remember, denotation is the dictionary definition. I always remember it because they both start with the letter D. And connotation is how you think of a word and what people imagine or envision or feel when they hear certain words. So if we look at the statement, I am hungry versus I am starving, the denotation of both of those words is similar. But the connotation of those words, starving feels much more intense than hungry. You say you're starving to kind of emphasize that point to whoever is reading or listening to you. Same with saying something like she was tired versus she was exhausted. It's different extremes of a word that essentially has the same definition, and you might choose to use one over the other. You could also use something like the guitar hummed softly versus the guitar twanged softly. Even the words themselves have a different feel to them. Hummed is a little more calm and mellow. Twang, to me, feels like country music of some kind. Or even something like she yelled versus she shrieked. In our heads, we may picture or hear those two different words as different things, even though they essentially mean the same thing. So remember that connotation can be shaped by a variety of different things. The context of a sentence or the scenario surrounding the use of a word, the environment, your interests, your education level, all sorts of things can contribute to the connotation of a word, how you interpret it. So I gave you that example, ravens. Is that a bird or is that a football team? Well, when I taught in Baltimore, it was a football team and eagles were birds. But if I ask that to my students in Philadelphia, you may have a different thought when you first see those terms. So if you grew up in a location where either of those teams plays, you might think of the football team. If you're a big sports person, you might think of the football team. But if you're not, you might think of birds. So in your assignment, you've been asked to complete a chart. And so you've been given the denotation of the word. So for example, the definition of eagle is listed there. The definition of diamond is listed there. But what I want you to fill in is the connotation for the word. So when you think of eagle, what do you think of? And you might write the football team. You might write, America. There are things you associated. For diamond, maybe you think of the stone. Maybe you think of baseball. Maybe you think of solitaire. There's a variety of different connotations that you may have for the different words on that chart. Your job is to complete it and tell me what connotations do you have with those different terms.